Zoom meeting and you just log on to a Zoom meeting and you just leave the phone or the laptop somewhere and they're doing some other things. But then that won't be good today, because you need to learn so much. And if you are putting your phone somewhere and you are somewhere else, it means that it's your laptop or your phone that is learning, not you. Or we want human beings here, not systems and laptop or phones. So please let's know in the comment section that we are speaking to people, not just phones. So please, I'm still expecting more responses, more good mornings, more hellos, eyes. Even if it's an emoji, just something to show that you are around. Thank you, Bironke. Good morning. Just something little to just show that you are on the call with me this morning. Thank you, Ebon. Good morning. Good morning, all. All right, Favor, good morning. Okay, so good morning, everybody. Thank you for the responses. The people that have not responded, we know you are with us, but please don't be far away. Try to stay connected and learn as much as you can learn during the session today. All right, so good morning. My name is Oluwashindara John Mote, and I will be your anchor for today's session and tomorrow for GA Career 2020. And with me, I have a co-anchor who is going to introduce himself shortly. Over to you, sir.
All right, good morning, everybody.
Good
Can
morning.
you all hear me? All right, good morning. My name is Solomon, and I'll be your co-host. I'll be co-anchoring this seminar alongside Shindara. So first, let me start by congratulating every one of you for joining this impactful seminar. You know, it offers you the opportunity to learn from high-profile facilitators and thereby enabling you scale up your career. Of course, that's the goal, you know, and it promises to be an engaging, an innovational, educational, and inspiring one. So please feel free to ask your questions along the line as our facilitators are ready to, you know, shed more light on them. Once again, you're all welcome aboard. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Solomon. So as my co-anchor has already said, this is a session that you're going to learn a lot. It's going to be more of questions and answer, and we want to ensure that everyone goes home answering all their curious questions, and giving answers to all your curiosity and so much more. We want it to be as engaging as you would like it. We want everyone to interact, we want everyone to learn, we want you to ask as much question as you want to ask. There's no stupid question, but also bear in mind that there are some ground rules. Firstly, we want to please ask that you kindly mute your mic when you are not talking. Please mute your mic so that you will not distract the speaker or every other participant. Also, we want to ask that you please give everyone mutual respect. When someone asks a question, don't make the person look stupid or don't make the person sound like they don't know what they're asking. Just let's give everyone mutual respect. Also, if you want to ask a question by yourself, you don't want to use the chat box or all of that, please kindly raise up your hand. You can go to the reaction bar. If you check the down bar just after the things you're seeing on the screen, just on your screen, you'll see at the at the rightmost part of your body, of the bars, the last one, you see reactions. If you click on it, you'll be able to use the clap sign or the thumbs up or the love or the celebration, or most importantly, the raise hand bar, just as I did now. And then we will see that you've raised up your hand, and then we can answer your question. After that, please kindly lower your hand. Yes, thank you. Also, please, we would ask that as the panel session is going on, or as the question, or as each speaker is speaking, and you feel like there is something you want to ask, please kindly use the chat box. Or if you want to ask the questions personally, you can send a message or a chat to myself or Solomon. His name is Solomon Adio on the call, or myself, Deborah. I'm written as Deborah Labodi, I'm sorry. But then you can send any of the both of us so that we can answer your questions appropriately. Please, do we understand our ground rules? Please let's be interactive as possible. Let's see in the comment section or the chat box. Did you understand the ground rules? I've not seen any response yet. All right, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right, so over to you, Solomon.
Okay, thank you, Shindara. So the next thing on our agenda right now is to call up our president, Niyi, Niyi Komala, to share the vision of GEA. GEA simply means Generals Equipped Academy. So let's welcome General Pini. We call him Pini. So Niyi Komala, can we have you? Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Solomon. Once again, good morning, everyone. I want to say a very big thank you to each and every one of us for joining us today. Okay, so not to waste time, my name is Niyi Komala. So starting Generals Equipped Academy, in the body of Christ, we saw that there was a particular generation of believers that when it was time for people to, people in the workplace, right, to employ members of staff, they literally went to churches, right? I could remember reading through history about the churches like Deeper Life, right? It spoke to the level of integrity those caliber of Christians had. It spoke to the level of excellence they put in the kind of work that they do. And so we saw a gap in 2019. We saw that, yes, believers pray, we pray for jobs, we pray for promotion, we pray for every of these things. And of course, God answers prayers, but we must not neglect the parts that we have to play when it comes to the manifestation of this prayers. So we thought of it that, can we set up on the Christian platform, can we set up something to equip young professionals, to equip young, old professionals on how to stay relevant in their career, how to stay relevant in business, how to stay relevant as a student, right? So we started the first edition of Generals Equipped Academy. I can remember BLL was part of the speakers. It was a physical event then in 2019. Now, of course, that was before COVID. We had close to over 50 people who were part of that edition. We had certificates and all that. And when COVID came, we adapted to the change. We had the online version. Then it was on WhatsApp, right? The speakers recorded their audio, and then they sent on WhatsApp groups. People had interaction, and then the engagement really increased. We had students close to more than 100 students registered as at then. So we've had at every point, at every year, we've had Generals Equipped Academy to speak to the current need of young professionals. So when we began Generals Equipped Academy, the emphasis was on CV writing, the emphasis was on interviews, the emphasis was on your LinkedIn profile and all that. But we saw that there's been a drastic change, a positive one at that, in the lives of our audience. So that's why we actually shifted to this particular topic, which says, now that you have a job, what next? I want each and every one of us to expect something rich, something practical. Please get your notepads, get your pen, and write things down. As the moderators have said, you have any questions, please do well to also share on the chat box or personally with the moderators. Once again, we look forward to a wonderful time today. By God's grace, we are looking forward to different expressions of General Equip Academy. We are looking at General Equip Academy, the governance and politics edition, another one for startups, business owners, and also for those who may want to study outside the country. So it's a really, really big platform for us, and we do not take it for granted. It's something that we believe is needed in the globe at the moment, and that's why we are actually going virtual. Once again, welcome to General Equip Academy 2022 edition. Thank you. Over to you, moderators.
All right, thank you very much, Nili, for the brief. Okay, so up next, of course, let's just drive the listener engagement by participating in a game, like a very brief game, and of course there will be gifts. So I would share with you my screen now, and the task is to find out or search out 10 have to type everything at once before sending it to the chat box. Type out 10 careers that you can find in the puzzle and then send it within 1 minute. So the winner gets a gift. So I'll be sharing. Okay. So can anyone see my screen? Can we all see it?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Any response?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
All right. So that is the puzzle, the word puzzle of words associated with career. We have different kind of careers. So I can see some here. The task is to identify 10 words in 1 minute. 10 words in 1 minute. Type everything at once before sending it to the chat box. So the winner gets a gift at the end of the seminar. And the time starts now. Shindara, please, you can help with the timing. Thank you.
All right. TikTok. 10 words, Emmanuel, 10 words. 10 words at a goal. If you break it, you have lost. If it's after the time, you have lost. So let's see who wins. Let's see who wins the gifts. Deborah, you're not getting it. You're supposed to write everything at a go. Okay. Favor. Okay, keep it coming. Right, so time up.
Yes. All right, Shindara, the time is up, yeah?
Yes, the time is up.
Okay, so do we have a winner? Let's check. Some people are still sending. Okay, favor, 1, 2, 3. Okay, you know what? I would share the correct picture with you. So if you can find the 10 words you identified, then we have a winner then. So let me quickly share with you. Okay, so Shindara, you can help call the participants. We have the words here on my screen, and then look for the person there.
Okay, so I can see that there were a lot of responses, but Favor was the first person to give us 10 answers in the space of 1 minute. So I think it's safe to say that the winner of this game is Favor Idakoji.
All right, so we have a winner. Round of applause for Favor. Congratulations, Favor.
So Favor will reach out to you to know how you can get your gifts. Thank you very much for appreciating Favor. You might be the next. There are still more gifts to be won during the session. We're going to give gifts to people that interact the most, the people that answer questions also, the people that are also participating in games and all of that, and also participating in this session, engaging and all of that. So please try to engage. There are gifts, there are beautiful gifts that are going to win for engaging in this session today. All we want is just to ensure that you engage, interact, and learn as much as you can. So thank you very much, Favor, once again. Thank you so much. So also, just to also spice it up a bit, we also just want people to respond in the chat box. You can use, so we want you to use the first letter of your name to form and use the first letter of your name to call out a food. So for instance, if your name is Bisola, you have to look for a food, a Nigerian meal, before I start saying Chinese meal here, a Nigerian meal that starts with B. For instance, Bisola beans. So you can just say Bisola beans, Deborah dodo. Yes, things like that. So please, let's see it in the comment section. Let's see how fast you can go. Yeah, I can see Biroke Inyo. Yes, Nigerian meal. Thank you, thank you. Yes, please keep it coming, keep it coming, keep it coming. Keep it coming. I can see that some people are calling their best meal. I don't know if it's their best meal or just something that came to their head. Favor fufu. Yeah, interesting. Deborah, Dan 1K. Wow, really? So please keep it coming. I would like to read it to the comment section. Keep it coming. Wow, happiness hamburger. Okay. Thank you very much for the engagement. We are still expecting more response. So for people that were not in the call, when we started the meeting, we actually had some ground rules. We said that please kindly put your microphone on mute while you are not talking to ensure that there are no distractions for the participants and the speakers. Also, we would like everybody to have mutual respect for everyone while asking questions. Please, there are no stupid questions, so ask away. Ask as much as you can ask. Also, if you want to ask a question, please use the chat box to ask your questions while the speaker session are going on. Also, you can private chat us if you want to ask your questions privately. And if you want to ask your question publicly, please kindly use the reaction bar. It's at the leftmost side of the bar underneath. reactions. Just click on reactions and press raise hand. And while your question is being asked, after your question is being asked, you can click back on it and lower your hand. So please, I hope you understand the ground rules, and let's please ensure that we learn as much as we can learn and also interact as much as we can. Don't let the chat room be a very quiet place. Use the chat room to express yourself while the session is going on. Put out your moments, the moment that were so mind-blowing to you, and let's just try to have fun while the session is going on. Thank you. Over to you, Solomon.
Okay, thank you, Shindara. And all has been worked out, and then everyone is expected to participate and be fully engaged in this seminar. Okay, so up next, we would like to hear from you guys, the participants. We would like to know your expectations from this session. You know, what do you guys expect? You can drop it in the chat box. What are your expectations for today's seminar? What are you expecting from the facilitators? What are you looking forward to learning? And so just make your views known on the chat box, and then we'll pick it up from there. Thank you. Can you start dropping it in the chat box now?
Also, if you're willing to speak up, we also appreciate that. If you want to if you want to speak up, you can just raise up your hand, as we said earlier, and then we'll give you the opportunity to speak up, just to express yourself and say what your expectations are. I'm sure the speakers are already on the call, so I'm sure they'll be willing to also hear what your expectations are, so that they will be able to target their conversations along your expectations. All we want for this session is for you to learn as much as you can learn, and to refuel, to answer all your curious questions, and just ensure that everything that you want to learn or why you registered for this session is answered. So please be in the comment section. Want to read out, want to see your expectations, want to see what you're expecting from the session. As I said, nothing is stupid. Just express yourself as much as you can. And also, if you think that you want to speak up, please raise up your hand. We'll pick you, and then you speak up on what you want. So we are waiting, please. We have limited time for this. So please, we're waiting for responses. Thank you, Faith. After seeing responses, thank you, Faith. Please, more responses, just to be sure that we have more people on the call. More responses. Remember that we said that we also have gifts. Don't underestimate our gift. You don't know if somebody will be going away with a car or land dog or a key to a house or an all expense paid trip. You don't know our sponsors. So please try to engage. You said there are gifts for people that engage. Thank you, Bureaucrat, to learn, relearn, unlearn, and know how to grow in my current job. Thank you so much. You can be sure that you're going to learn that. Faith also said that I'm expecting to learn how to grow in my chosen career and my present job. Yes, that is what you're going to learn. Please, we are expecting more responses. For me, I want to know what my hiring managers are expecting. I want to know how to succeed, how to get promoted, how to just, eat it my career, to know what next to do. Since I have a job now, what next do I have to do to achieve or to be a star performer on my job? So let's see what you're willing to learn. Yes, happiness. Thank you. You have to become a valuable employee. Thank you. So we're expecting more. We're expecting more. We have limited time for this. Please try to interact with us. Let's know, because I mean, if we don't know what you're expecting, we most likely will just be speaking to what you're not expecting, and that way we're not satisfied you. We've not given you enough reading. I mean, it's just be like you just came here and wasted 3 hours of your time. So we want to ensure that while the speakers, I mean, I'm sure the speakers are in the comment section also looking at what you said and trying to see how they are going to picture what they are going to say into your request or into your expectations. So please voice out on your expectation. We are here for you. We came here because of you. So voice out your expectations so that we will not be talking amiss. Okay, yes, I can see a hand raised up. Timothy Amos, please, you have the floor now.
All right, thank you, Shinara. Thank you, Solomon, host, and everyone. Good morning. Yes, one of my expectations is to see how to position myself to seize opportunities both within and outside the organization. So how to position oneself for upcoming opportunities and relevant strategies to take for such, both in conduct and in preparation, in self-preparation. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much for that. You have a gift from us. We're going to see you to give you a gift. Thank you for speaking up.
Really, thank you.
Yes, so who else wants to speak up? Thank you to people that are responding in the comment section. Thank you so much. I can see your comments, and I'm sure that the facilitators are reading your comments as well to be able to respond to your comments or your expectations. So expecting to learn how to stand out in business as an entrepreneur in midst of competition and also client-based relationship. Perfect. You can be very sure that you're going to learn that and many more. So thank you very much for voicing out on your expectations. Thank you very much for speaking up to that. We are going to ensure that you learn so much. And at the end of the session also, we're going to be asking you to see if these expectations were met and to see how we can ensure that, I mean, the session is going to be for today and tomorrow. So the ones that we're not able to answer and all of that, we're going to ensure that before the session is over tomorrow, you're going to learn all these things and you're going to also have your quests answered. So thank you very much for voicing out your expectations. So right about now, we're going to be going into the major session for today. And the interesting thing about today's session, or about this session, is that the speakers are just not going to come and bamboozle you with talk and all of that. Because, I mean, over time, what I realized is that when there are sessions going on like this, the speakers come and they talk, and even you are motivated, and you're like, when I get back to work tomorrow, or when I get back to work on Monday, I'm going to be a new employee. I mean, the ginger is there and all of that. And then 1 week after, you see that you're slacking, you're back to the person that you are, because the truth is habits don't just get formed overnight. It takes a long time. So our speakers are going to be giving you practical steps, sharing practical experiences, and they're just going to ensure that we carry you along in this session today. Also, we're going to make sure that you learn so much. So they're not going to just be speaking alone. They're going to be answering your questions. We have time to answer questions today. So just bombard us with your questions. Like, as I said earlier, no question is stupid. No question is irrelevant. As far as it relates to the subject topic, as far as it relates to career and your growth, even as a business person, you are an employee to your business and you are an employer of labor. So you also need to be here to learn as much as you can learn. Thank you very much. Do I still have people with me? Please don't leave me. Please, if you're still with me, just, put a reaction in the comment section. Emojis and all of that to be appreciated. Just put in the comment section so I know that you're still with me. And we still have over 29 participants here with us. So please, let me see your reactions. Thank you for the reactions. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Martin Kings. Thank you for not leaving me. So, please also do not forget to not unmute your mic. Don't get carried away. All right, so we're going to be reading out the profile of the panelists, and then so that you can know that we have seasoned professionals that are coming to speak with you, people that they've made their own mistakes, they've gotten it right already, and are going to be sharing their mistakes with us. They're going to be sharing the practical steps with us so that we also can get it right in our careers. These people have built successful careers over the years. Some of them are still building. So we also have people who are in our stage. We have people who are one ahead of us. So it's going to be very relatable. And while I read the profile, I'm sorry I might not be able to project it. So while I read the profile, please try to stay along and see that we have people that are going to answer your questions. And the funniest thing is that, or the interesting thing is that they're from different backgrounds. So I'm not just bringing just people from, usually when we have sessions like this, they just bring HR professionals to just come and speak and all of that. No, there are people from other departments that are going to share relatable steps with us as we go today. Okay, all right, I'm sorry for the break. So this is Olubukola Lawa Lanipekun. She obtained a BSc in Business Administration from the University of Lagos in 1997 and Masters in Business Administration, MBA, with specialization in management from the same university in 2002. She's a member of the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management, CIPM. She has participated at several conferences, training, and seminars, both locally and internationally. She's a self-motivated and hardworking senior human resource professional with expertise and exposure in all aspects of human resource management, proven leadership skills, including managing and motivating others to achieve set objectives, an effective communicator at all levels with good problem solving and analytical skills. She's a counselor of good repute and an advocate of good marriage and family life. She's happily married with children. Will I say with Jesus joy in our hearts? Please kindly put a round of applause for our first speaker, Mrs. Olanipekun Lawa.
Good morning. Good morning.
Thank you very much for honoring our invitation, Ma.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, Shindara. Good morning, everyone. Honestly, it's been interesting hearing from everyone, expectations, and of course, the teasers that you had. Favor, that was a good one. Thank you for having me.
What happened? It's difficult. I really difficult. You have something like
Okay, Shindara, are you still there? Am I missing anything?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was muted.
Okay.
Okay, Ma. So, well, before we continue, before we call other panelists or speakers, we would like you to share with us something interesting that has happened while you've been on your career journey. It could be just a short story, or it could be, something that we can draw lessons from. Sorry to put you on the spotlight, but if you could just think through your years of experience, if there is something you did, maybe your first day at work, some mistakes you made, or while you were expecting a promotion, or while you resumed at a new place of work, or some mistakes that you made, or it doesn't have to be mistakes, something very interesting that you think that you would love to share with us and we can draw lessons from. Over to you, Ma.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Once again, it's an honor to be here, and I must appreciate the leadership of the youth of Love Assembly Parish of the Church of God. for putting together the General Cube Academic Program, the year event that I usually have. I've been opportune to speak once, I think, one of the programs in the past. And I must, commend you for what you do. I mean, you try as much as possible to bring out valuable programs that will be of benefit and add value to your members, and even participants that are not your members, but are able to also benefit from what you do. So well done. I want to say to your members and everyone on this call that are hearing me, and they probably have an opportunity to listen to the recordings later, that honestly, you do not know the opportunity that you have in being able to access this sort of information, or being able to participate in this kind of program and to hear people share their experiences, share tips and information that will help you better yourself, better your career, better, your worth, as you progress in life. I wish I had this opportunity. I mean, we can't, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I wish it was like this in my own time, where I could access professionals like this to speak to me about how to, plan my career and what I must do and should not do to ultimately get to my destination. Maybe what Shinera asked, the question she asked me now, what she's asking to share, some of the things I probably wouldn't have, experienced. And the one thing experience I'm going to share with you is never be too quick to take up a job, right? At one time in my career, so let me just say this, I think I've been so blessed. I don't know how God did it. And I'm happy that this is a church-based program, so I can be myself and express myself and say the way it is. So I think I've just been so blessed by God, because the trajectory of my career, it's just been like that, God all the way. And at some point in my career, I didn't have to look for so long when I need to change a job. Okay, so I mean, when I start feeling comfortable about an environment and I pray about it, opportunities just come. But this particular move that I made, I guess I wasn't patient enough. I just needed something. I wanted something because I just left the place and I didn't want to stay at home for too long. Because there are times that you're out of a job, there's actually a reason for it. Because much later, after that first experience, I realized what God was saying to me. So I took my time, to take my next job. And I thank God that it's been great since that time. So I took a job and everything about the organization was just not right. From the ownership structure, from the leadership style, from the policies and the processes, from the people, even though I was head of HR, I knew that everything was wrong about that organization. Now I had two options. At that point, I had the option of leaving. I mean, there were clear instructions, clear, confirmation to what I was feeling at that time. But because, it is, you want to hold on to certainty and wait until when the other opportunity come. And so until I got to a point I couldn't take it anymore. I mean, I used to be someone that I believe that there's, maybe in my younger life, there's nobody I can't talk to. I just believe that there's nothing I can't do. And what is you tell me no? I can knock on any door. So I don't believe there's a particular task I cannot perform. You just tell me no. And no doesn't mean die. It just says that, okay, go to the next door or take advantage of the next opportunity. So I was able to sit and confront the then CEO when I realized that some decisions were taken, some actions, some things were done against the staff that I felt shouldn't be. I mean, we speak one side of our mouth that we want to have global practices, but what you're doing is totally against it. So I had to take a leave. I took a bow at some point and asked myself, I mean, I spent about a year and a half there. What did I gain? What did I bring out of it? I thank God I came out because I had a few other colleagues that came out of the organizations and they didn't have very good stories to tell, you know. So that's on one side. The other side of what I've learned is I used to be a very reserved person. I don't like to speak in the public space. I just want to be myself. I can be the team and all. So my job brought me out, really simply put. I just like to be in my space, do my thing, you know. But I mean, way back in secondary school, I was a prefect. But even though I was a prefect, I would rather allow my assistant to do the talking. I would just stay behind, you know. But my job brought me out. I had to do a lot more speaking. I had to do a lot more engagement. I had to do a lot more, you know, reaching out to ensure that we're able to get out to, I mean, defending some of the recommendations that I'm making, you know, or the management is making. So that brought me out a lot.
Hello. Hello. Well, sorry, I guess there's a network glitch at our end. I'm sure she'll be back soon because I think she's out. I guess that's a network glitch from our side. So let's just wait a little moment. Okay, welcome back, ma.
My apologies, I don't know, I was just thrown out. So I don't know what happened. So basically, I mean, so appreciating people, especially knowing that no man makes an island, no matter how do. And so because I now have to manage people, I must manage the diversified, you know, personalities that I have to work with, you know, from the younger ones to the baby boomers to the Gen Z, the Gen Y, you know, and the millennials, of course, and the Alpha Gen, you know. So that and I was telling my colleagues, was it this week or last week, that I have changed a lot. I mean, I saw how it was with dealing with some of them, and I've seen that really there's a great change in the way we work. So that's a little bit about myself. Let me give room for others, or maybe there are questions. Thank you.
Get frustrated, especially in this workplace toxicity saga and all of that. You see that a lot of times. I mean, it's not, the place is not even really tough. You just feel like, I can't be taking this shit here. I can't be taking these things here. And then you're just quick to move. You just want to move and all of that. A lot to millennials and Gen Zs. And I think that is something that I myself am taking home. Don't be quick. Don't be quick to just jump off from the next place. I mean, they always say that the grass is greener on the other side, but sometimes it's not actually greener on the other side until you get there. Mm-hmm. So thank you very much for sharing that. Please also express yourself in the comment section from things you've learned from what she said, and let her read it to show that she's filling up your inquisitiveness, and she's answering your questions. Thank you very much for that, ma. We will be back to you. All right, so we have another speaker for today. We're going to come back to Mrs. Bukola Lani-Pekunlawa. We're going to be asking her more questions. I'm sure that from this story that she has shared, you would also you also see that she's worded, she's loaded, and she's willing to empty herself and share as much today. So we have some other speakers also. Our next speaker, or the next person that is going to be sharing some things with us, is Mr. Emmanuel Aderibe. Mr. Emmanuel Aderibe is an accomplished professional with some substantial experience delivering expert-level cloud service and solution architecture. Throughout his career, he has exhibited a commitment to enrich customers' experience by delivering digital solutions, cloud services, and telecommunication services that are in line with customers' requirements. He is AWS and Google Cloud certified professional, well-versed with modern digital tools and technologies. He always exhibits commitments to maintain high metrics of customer service by facilitating customers on the use of digital projects. He has an history of delivering virtualization, subject matter expert, and pre-sales support, articulating organizational technology solutions by collaborating with telecommunications operators across multiple regions. He is an expert of stakeholder relationship management, leading to the establishment of consensus on digital products and solutions. He has achieved increased sales of services, products through conversion of sales pipeline. On a personal level, he supervises various functions such as solutions architecture and development for technology-based startups in Nigeria, Route 85 Limited and Applicentric Limited for Route 85 Limited. He was responsible for the design and development of logistics marketplace, Log AGG NG, which democratized delivery operators across Nigeria. It utilizes several cloud services for the integration of various components of Log AGG solution. For Applicentric Limited, he has designed and developed its Arrive NG platform, which is a marketplace platform for the public transport system in Nigeria. Both platforms have mobile applications on Android and iOS, admin web application, and dashboard and backend services. This is such a rich, very rich profile. And then you can see that I said earlier that we have a robust and seasoned professionals. With Jesus joy in our hearts, can we please give a round of applause to Mr. Emmanuel Aderibe as he comes up to say hello to us. Please, let me see the chat box. Yes, thank you, Faith. Thank you, Damilola. Welcome, Mr. Emmanuel.
Good morning. Thank you, Sister Shindara and Bro Solomon and G in general. And thanks for having me here. Okay, just a little about myself. Okay, I wear to cap. Now, within the corporate world, I perform, or I function rather, as a pre-sales solution architect. And on the personal level, okay, I function as CTO to few startups. As the session goes on, you get to know a little bit about some of these things. And okay, that's all for now. Anything else? Maybe a few highlights about my career before you before you throw them at me. Okay, okay. Few interesting things. Okay. Well, I had my first degree in 2005. Okay, and I've been working since then. And I've resigned 4 times, and I've been terminated twice. So let me stop at that. So maybe your questions will bring out some of the details. Okay.
That is so interesting. Thank you for being so honest and sincere with us. But could you please share, if we're not going to personnel, could you please share one of your termination story with us and a major lesson you learned from the termination story?
Okay, now I said I was terminated twice. Now the first one was sometimes in 2018. Okay, I had a career shift in 2014. I used to be techie. So in 2014, I moved to the sales organization. So I was working with Oracle then, and I was responsible for the West African region. Okay, I was selling telco products, supporting the salesperson technically. And of course, West Africa now is a, we have the English-speaking part and the French-speaking part. So now in the first 2-3 years, I was doing well. Okay, I was selling well in Nigeria and in Ghana. And of course, when it got to 2017, 2018, most of the sales were actually coming from the French-speaking African side. And if you work for an American company, they say everybody has head counts. You understand? And of course, I'll get to share some things later. So my traveling was frequent to that part of the world, or that part of Africa rather. And again, I'm not a French-speaking person, but the good thing was that some of them within that domain, speak some level of English language. But of course, it wasn't the best for the organization. So, and the structure just requires one person in West African region. You understand? So, and guess what? My manager told me, he didn't tell me I was going to be dismissed, but he told me we need somebody in West African region. I had to recommend somebody. And guess what? I recommend somebody that replaced me.
Oh.
But it was quite interesting because when the guy got to know, you understand, he said he wasn't going to take the job. I said, Mr. Man, please go ahead and take the job. Business need. So that was the story behind that termination.
Okay, so from this now we can see
and
that
of course it was good for me. Okay, you said?
I said, okay, please continue.
Okay. Maybe I should stop here. Perhaps other questions will bring out some other details, or you want me to go a little bit more?
I just wanted to know, so from this we can see that it wasn't really your fault, but were there other lessons that you learned, such as maybe next time I should not bring up somebody?
No. I was happy doing that. And that's one of the things I intend to share here. Okay, if time permits, relationship matters a lot in workplace. Relationship matters a lot. Now, the guy I actually refer, we had good working relationship. You understand? He also left to go for some other place. So when there was need for someone within that region, I was quick, to refer him, and I didn't regret that opportunity, because even if I didn't refer him, okay, they will have still hired somebody. So there was nothing I could have done better than that, and I'm happy I did that then. And guess what? When I was even fired, my next opportunity, okay, was someone that used to be like a senior director in Oracle that moved to another company and he became the MD of another company in another country. I will tell you about that if time permits. You understand? He just called me that, Emmanuel, you are no more with Oracle. Are you willing to work with us? Okay, we are looking at setting up something in West African on Thursday. No, sorry. It was on a Friday. Because I was meant to attend an interview in Tollgate, Admiralty Tollgate then. I went to collect my passport. I was supposed to attend an interview in It was around that time. I still remember the story vividly. Okay, Emmanuel, okay, are you willing? I said, yes. He said, okay, can you be in Turkey on Monday? Okay, so I was still driving. You understand? I said, Turkey. I haven't been to Turkey before. What's the visa requirement? Blah, 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 I said, okay, give me some time. While valid US or UK visa, I said I have both. He said, then you don't need a visa to do that. Okay. On Monday, he said, okay. Someone will reach out to you. Before I got an email that said, you understand, of your passport, the data page of your passport. So it was also a relationship that helped me to get that job. Okay, so let me stop at that. So I think we have time to talk more later.
Thank you very much for sharing such an honest story with us. Yes, I mean, people are in the comment section already saying relationship matters in the workplace. Yes, relationship building in the workplace is key. Yes, and we are going to be talking about relationship, the power of relationships in the workplace. So you know that this is going to be such a rich program. And thank you so much, Mr. Emmanuel, for sharing that. And this brings me back to what Mrs. Bukola Alani-Pekulawa said earlier. She said you should not be quick to jump into a place. I mean, everybody will have thought Oracle is such a, I mean, they will not terminate their employees like that and all of that. I mean, but then you can see from someone who has worked there that these are things that happen in organizations. So you should not judge a book by its cover. So thank you very much for sharing this interesting story with us. And our third speaker for today is a very familiar, very weathered person, and you're also going to enjoy his session. Our next person is Mr. Olani Ikuomola. He is a brilliant and creative professional whose career goal is to make exceptional contribution to the achievement of company's objective through communications, media, and public relations. He presently works with brands, marketing, and communications team of FSDH Merchant Bank, where he promotes brand awareness, brand engagement, and differentiation through storytelling, digital marketing, and event marketing across all digital platforms. He leads a vibrant group of youths at RCCG Love Assembly, the Generals, where they are encouraged to live a balanced life of excellence in all areas of life. He achieved this through many life-challenging programs such as General Accused Academy, Fellowship Circle, Bay and Bull, Youth Festivals, and many more. In 2020, he started the Southwest Student Summit, a summit targeted at preparing undergraduates for life after school. The edition had over 80 students in attendance. He's a visionary leader, singer, and writer. More of him unfolds by the day. I mean, have you ever worked with creatives? They are very dynamic human beings. So with Jesus joining us, please can you welcome Mr. Olani Ikuomola, the GEA way. Just as we've been doing it before. Can we welcome him with your reactions and emojis and all of that? Thank you. Welcome, sir.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, Shindara. Good morning, Solomon. Good morning, everyone. BLL, good morning, Ma. Good morning.
Please can I say that there was a change in your voice from when you spoke initially as the youth president and now that you're speaking as a speaker? I think it's a speaker's voice.
Really?
And we are loving it.
I didn't notice that. Thank you. Thank you so much.
On, sir.
Yes. Okay. All right. Once again, good morning, everyone. One of the things we put into consideration when selecting the panelists for this year's General Secretary Academy was number one, to have people from different industries, different fields, and then to have people from different generations, right? And I'm privileged to be the youngest in this panel session, right? So as to just share some things that are relatable and particular to our generation. All right. One of the things that I've really learned in my career, I think I started my career about 5 years from now, 5 years before now, is the power of volunteering, right? So there's every tendency that in our generation, at the workplace, people are looking for certified professionals, people who have experience. So you see people, we've had that joke several times where you're looking for someone who is below 25, and then you want the person to have 7 years experience, right? So when the person graduates with ASO strike and every of those things, right? One thing that really helped me in my career is volunteering. How I got this present job that I have is, so I've not had the opportunity to really work in media houses, work with media professionals and all that. But at my present place of worship, that's RCCG, I took the social media platforms upon myself. I also work with several NGOs outside RCCG. But majorly for RCCG, I took the social media pages upon myself, the media, the brand engagement, the brand differentiation and all that. So what happened? I also realized that at some point in time during the lockdown, I was writing stories, I was putting quite a number of things on my social media platform, right? So I got into the interview through the power of relationship, but I got the job based on the past volunteering experiences that I had. So what really happened was my boss as at then went on LinkedIn, went on Facebook, went on Twitter, went on Instagram to see every of the things that I've been writing, to see, okay, if this guy really fits into the team. And that was what was one of the things that really made me stand out of the people that went for that particular interview. So number one for me, what really has really helped me in my career is volunteering, right? You see where they're holding a community service group that you think is connected to your career, just go into it and volunteer. You don't necessarily have to be paid. You are gaining experience, right? Even at your place of worship, in your family, anywhere. You can even start up something that you know is connected to your career. Just do it for free. And then you are gradually gaining experience. You put that into your CV. It becomes a testimony for your next big thing. And the second one would be that you are in a digital world. Always put your work out there. Don't as little as it may seem, any little project that you see, put it out there. Let people know that this is what you are doing. It gives you visibility and opens you up to more opportunities. So that's it from. I hope I've not spoken too much. That's it from my end. Thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing that, because I mean, just like your experience, because I was going to ask you to just share it. I mean, I wanted to ask you something different from the other speakers, but I wanted to ask you to just share with us what you felt like starting a career in a different environment and growing your career. Do you get? And I mean, I'm from the millennium perspective, okay. But thank you for sharing that bit. So, so I'm going to ask you, if you're going to advise your younger self who just got into the job, the first day of the job, what would you say that the person should take note of on the first day?
Wow, a lot. Number one, I would start with, well, I actually did this when I was starting my career. But I feel I would have done more of it. Don't undermine the power of questions. You see somebody who has been in your field, you see somebody not even in your field, probably the HR, probably the CEO. You see a person walking by several times. Don't undermine the place of asking questions, right? So what's your greatest challenge? Just as we have this kind of platform here, you are going through a challenge. Understand that, just as BLL shared, Breman also shared, there was a particular time in my life where I didn't have a job, right? The job that I had before now, we had to retrench some members of the staff, and my particular unit had to give way at that point in time, right? So don't undermine the place of asking questions. There are people that have gone ahead of you who have learned, they've scaled through several hurdles in life, right? Don't undermine the place of just asking questions. You don't really need to figure it all by yourself, right? The situation may be peculiar to you, but the principles are always the same, right? Ask questions from those around you, and you will surely get practical ways to get things done. So another one would be just to emphasize on what BLL said. At the time when I was my unit then was entrenched, I had quite a number of opportunities, but I knew what I wanted to do on the long run. I knew what I wanted to do with my life. I knew my career goal. So I was literally saying no to some opportunities, and I was sitting at home, right? So just to reemphasize on what BLL has shared, don't jump on jobs. Still focus on that passion within, that still small voice that tell you that this is your career goal, this is what you want to do, because you don't want to get a job and then you get there, you're frustrated, you know that you ought to be in a different place, a different field than where you are at the moment, right? So number one would be, don't undermine the place of asking questions. And in a generation where we focus so much on social media, we want to reach out to Fela Drote, want to reach out to Larry Olushola, want to reach out to Jimmy Tewe and the likes, right? And don't forget that there are people around you that may even have practical wisdom to what you need, right? So don't, in a generation where it's a social media generation, don't undermine the importance of those around you, right? They have answers to your questions. So ask questions and don't just jump on opportunities. Know what you want and have the ability to say no to what you don't want. So that would be it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. So, I mean, I'm sure that by now you should start having questions, because as he was talking, I was having questions. As everybody was talking, I had questions already. And he said that do not undermine the power of asking questions. So I think we should start from that. You can start sending your questions in. You can put it in the chat box. But if you want us to like focus on it better, we advise that you send it to us personally, so that I mean, and if you want us to be personal, if you don't want us to call your name and all of that, you could also put anonymous. Yeah, something like that. But please, we advise that you start asking questions. You've just been taught the power of asking questions. So start asking your questions now. Let's start practicing it. So thank you very much. Thank you very much, Saz and Ma. Right about now, we are going to start the panel session. So the questions, so we have some we already have some questions assigned, but along the line, we are going to take priority to questions asked during the session. We are going to take priority to questions asked during the session. We just have these questions so as to just arouse more questions and let people feel more involved in the session for today. So please, participants, please kindly ask your questions. We will take priority to your questions. And as I said earlier, there are no stupid questions. Also remember the ground rooms, mutual respect for everyone that is asking questions. Please kindly mute your mic while you are not talking. And if you have a question, if you want to ask your question yourself, please use the reaction button to raise your hand. Thank you very much. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. Yes. So Mrs. Bukola, Mr. Emmanuel and Mr. Olani, please, we would need you to unmute your mic now, because we're going to be asking questions. We're going to be directing the questions to you. So today, as I said earlier, we have 2 sessions, and today we are going to be focusing on what hiring managers look out for in employees, the need for personal learning, the kingdom agenda. Remember that this is organized by Christians. So please, if we have Muslims or other religions here, we apologize. This is not a Christian gathering, but it was organized by a Christian society. So please understand that we also have to speak about kingdom agenda. And then we're speaking about the future of work, the future of this generation, and then personal branding. So you can be sure that you're in for a ride today. And we are also going to ensure that we keep to time. Yes, we are looking at the time, so we're going to keep to time. And in case we need to probably have more time, we're going to request from you. So please, just a minute. All right, so I'm going to be starting with you, Ma. So also for perspective, I want to also let you know that we have a senior human resource professional here. We have a sales manager that also has IT background. And then we have a brand marketing and communication specialist. So you see that we have a variety of departments, variety of background. So there are going to be a lot of questions to be answered and knowledge to be gained. So I'm going to be asking you the first question, Ma. What do you think are the top mindset qualities that are attractive to employers? What mindsets do you think that employers would look out for? I mean, you're an employer of labor. So what top qualities do you think that employers look out for in candidates now or in employees that they employ now?
Okay, so I'll just, in bullet points in one word each, I'll just say number 1 is teachability. Employers look out for in their candidate or prospective candidate you talk to. They want to see that even though the candidate is smart, is technically sound, they want to see that the candidate is also open to learning. Now you're going to a place for a new place, a new environment. Don't go about presenting yourself as a know-it-all, have it all, and the people that you're going to meet there don't know anything. So it must be teachable. Even especially during the interview, when you're asked questions around some aspect of the role that you are being prospected for, and you don't know it, just tell them, I don't know it, but I'm hoping to learn. I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to, commit time to, getting myself abreast with that particular part of what I need to do. It shouldn't be a problem for me. So that's one, it must be teachable. Number 2 thing is ability to, you know, presentation skills. I mean, you're talking and you can't even coordinate the points you have to respond to the questions you're being asked. That says a lot. Your resume is your #1 personal brand. You know, I'll share an experience. We had an interview with a particular candidate, and interestingly, the role was for branding, you know, and in that resume, he had some grammatical errors in that resume. I mean, I think it was just one, but that stood out because everybody picked it up. And by the time you were talking to Candy about it, rather than him taking it on board, and because it could have happened, if it's a mistake, okay, yes, but take it on board as a mistake and move on. But he didn't take it very well, talking about Gen Zs again, you know, and the millennials, and the fact that they're not so patient. So he just flipped and said, "I'm so sorry. So why are you picking me up? Is it because I came for an interview here? I don't even need a job." And the candidate just left the interview. So your resume, take time out. You can even ask, you know, professionals to review your resume for you. It doesn't cost you much. Maybe it costs, if you think you don't have the time to do a proper professional resume for yourself, prepare one for yourself, you can consult, you can outsource it for minimal amount of money if you can't do it yourself. But make sure that it is concise, it is error-free, because it speaks about your person. And once that initial contact with the organization you're trying to, you know, to get boarded with, you know, it's they're disconnected. That alone disconnects, you know, hiring managers and interview panel from the candidate. So it's important you are teachable. Your personal presentation skills, your resume says a lot about you. One other thing also is ability to engage. Please, you must be able to engage. You must, engage intellectually. Another type of interview process that we have, we call it business discussion or business case. So they can just throw a business case at you and ask you to engage. They just want to see how you play, you know, in the meeting room, how you engage, you know, if you are confronted by situations. So ability to engage is so very important as well. See, one other thing that I would like to drop here as I stop, and maybe other questions will come also, is thank God for COVID. It has its merits and lots of demerits, we know, but it has also brought to the fore various other ways of engaging without physical in-person, right? So you have virtual meetings, virtual interviews now, but virtual meetings and virtual interviews does not stop, you know, your interviewers to identify the flaws that you're coming up with. So dressing, personal appearance, personal grooming, so very, very important. If you know you're going for an interview and you're just there, you're not even paying attention to your appearance, because that's so very important. You must also take time to understand the organization you are going to, have some basic knowledge about the organization you're going to meet with. Because, why are you interested? Why do you want to join them? What do you know about them? What have you connected with in them? Is it their vision? Is it their core mission? Is it their core values? Personally, does their core value, you know, align with your personal values? If it doesn't align, then there's no point going there. If you find yourself in an organization that, you know, contradicts your personal value, you should tell yourself that I need to leave. Otherwise, you're going to be in trouble, because there's no way you'll be able to excel in such an organization. So those are some of the points that I will note at this point. I hope that's fine. Shindara?
Yes, Ma, thank you so much. There are loads of questions already for you for what you said. Solomon, please, over to you.
All right, thank you very much, BLL. That was a detailed response to the question. Okay, so the points I was able to bring out from the response was that, you know, your presentation skills is one of those things employers look out for in potential employees. Your good resume, and of course your dress sense. You should be teachable too. So those were the things I was able to bring out. Thank you very much once again. So I have a question here from one of the participants, Afosa, is asking hold on, please. Okay, so Efusa is asking, for a young person who is starting life and has had a tough time getting good jobs, how can the person apply the law of not accepting jobs too quickly? How can the person apply the law of not accepting just anyhow jobs, like not just accepting jobs too quickly? Like for a curious person that is actively looking for a job, how can the person apply the law of not accepting jobs too quickly? That's a question for you, ma'am. Okay.
I'm trying to process the question. So for someone that is honestly looking for a job and is not getting one, how does he apply the law of not getting jobs? How do you settle yourself to that particular state that, okay, I'm trying, but the job is not coming? So the best thing to do is actually to get your mind engaged in what interests you. Because you're human, you know, it's going to have a great impact on your mental state if all you do when you wake up in the morning is think about all the applications you wrote yesterday, those you wrote last week, and you keep flipping through your mailbox to see whether responses have come and whether the responses are favorable. That is going to affect you. It's going to affect you negatively and terribly too if you're not careful. So see, one thing is for you to be looking to work for someone. Another thing is for you to begin to look at, what do I have personally? What can I be engaged with at this point in time that would add value to you and you would derive satisfaction in doing? So the responses to the applications are not coming. The employment opportunities or job opportunities that you expect are not coming. What kind of value are you adding to yourself? See, I said earlier on that the opportunity you have, we didn't have, right? I didn't have, and I wish I had. There's something they say around things being as cheap as, a kobo way back then. You can actually learn 1,001 skills in a day if you so wish, by paying less to nothing for it. Now, number one is a lot of materials that are free on the internet. Number two is some of the courses that would have loved to go for way back there, and you have to pay through your nostrils, to attend. They're as cheap as almost nothing these days. So you can access materials that are free online, and then you can also participate in courses that can add value to you. I mean, you heard me talking about volunteering earlier, but I've also seen, candidates that they've not actually had opportunity at practical experience. All they've done is just getting themselves soaked in as much, materials as possible for them to be aware, abreast of current trends and what will be required of them when they have to take a job. So even though you've not had any job, if you're going to have one, maybe they'll start you at entry level, but the knowledge that you're bringing to that role, though you don't have any practical experience, by the time you are placed on the job, what you have read, and you begin to, connect them with the practical side of things, you are better able to apply them. So don't say because job is not coming, what life ends there. Absolutely not. Begin to look at things that you can do to add value to yourself. Learn, and learn. Learn, relearn, and unlearn. So look for materials that you can read. If you've identified a career path, then begin to get materials that can prepare you for the job when it comes. And who says that you must only have a paid job? You can actually have a side hustle pending when the paid job will come. So what interests you? What can you do with your hands? What can you do, by talking? What can you do, by writing? What can you do by volunteering? There's so many things, opportunities out there that you must identify the particular one that will add value to you in your journey to where you want to be, and also give you satisfaction that you are spending your time very well. I hope that answers your question. Thanks.
Thank you very much, BLL. That was a detailed one too. So you learn, add value to yourself in the process of searching for jobs. Thank you very much. I hope that answers the question, Efusa. Okay, so another question
sorry,
on the chat.
Sorry, Solomon. Yes, I wanted Pini to also speak through that because he also mentioned it while he was introducing himself.
Okay. Just to add to the very good points BLL has shared already. We can look at this question from two perspectives. Number one, if the kind of job you are looking for if you're talking about the kind of salary you're expecting, right? That's number one. And then number two would be the particular role or field you actually want to be in. They are not connected to the opportunities open to you at the moment. So we can look at it from two perspectives. Money or field is dependent. I think we had a conversation around that on the WhatsApp group. Is dependent on the particular stage of career that you are in. But when it comes to the field that you want to get in, the particular role that you want, you must realize that time is actually going. You may want to choose, okay, so take for instance, for me, I've always wanted to be in the media, communication and brands field. But the opportunity I got at the, once I graduated from school was a customer service contact center representative, managing a contact center, right? But I saw that there's a connection between communication and customer service, right? So I took up the job at that then, gathered experience, and then I had the opportunity and I had the leverage to now get into where I am at the moment, right? And the funny thing is, anytime they want to, my particular organization wants to start up a contact center now, I may be the next person to call on. I'm not sure if I'm sure you're getting what I'm saying. So what I'm trying to say is, at the moment, there are opportunities that may not really look like the opportunity you want. It may not look like it's in full, right? But look at the one that is closer to where you're actually going to. Look at the one that is maybe a step behind where you're actually going to, and then pick up that job, gather experience. From there, you can now move to where you actually want to, rather than just sit at home or not getting anything to do. So look for the particular job that in some ways in line with where you want to get to. So that would be my contribution to what BLL had said.
Thank you very much, sir. Oluchi, you asked a question about resume when BLL was talking. What she meant by resume is CV, your curriculum vitae, where you have all your information, your educational experience, work experience, personal details, and all of that, and you use that to apply for a job. Yes, so that was what she meant by resume. Resume is another word for CV. I hope I answered that question. So over to you, Solomon.
All right, thank you very much, Shindara. Okay, so we have a lot of questions here, so we'll pick them one by one. So a question from Ibironke, and I will be directing it to Mr. Emmanuel. So the question goes thus: what factors should one consider while making a career change? What factors should one consider while making a career change? That goes to you, Mr. Emmanuel. Mr. Emmanuel?
Okay, so I think he's not on the call at the moment, but I think I would like to direct that also to Pini, because I know you also stated while you were speaking about moving from customer service to brand and communication. So this person is asking what factors should she consider while changing her career path, and what are the major challenges when you choose a new career path?
All right. So the regular response to that will be, thank you for that question. The regular response to that will be around your passion, what really sits to your core when it comes to delivering value. Of course, we don't see our jobs as a place where we go to receive money, right? We see it as a place where we go to serve and give out value to our community, right? So the first thing we would want to be that you want to check what are you really passionate about, what sits to your core, because when you are working at a place that you are passionate about, when you're working in a role that you're passionate about, you derive joy in it, irrespective of the challenges. You have a career goal, you have something you really want to achieve. Irrespective of the challenges that may come your way during your career, you see it as though you are just having fun, right? So you can imagine someone like me who is very, very particular about brands, marketing, communication, storytelling, and all that, irrespective of how bulky the work may be. I'm actually enjoying myself, right? So that's number one. Number two would be to look at the relevance of your role in the next 5 to 10 years, right? 5, 10, 15 years, right? Look at how and in the advent of technology where machines are taking over human beings, you want to look at in the next 5, 10 years, especially in your working environment, in the country where you are in the field where you are in, how relevant is this particular role going to be in the next 5 to 10 years? So looking at the challenges you face, of course, there's a place of certification, there's a place of skill, there's a place of building the language, the terminologies of that particular industry, right? You are going into a new industry, you need to start understanding the fundamentals, you need to start understanding the terminologies that are used in that particular industry, right? So number one would be your passion. Try your possible best to ensure that in some way you are passionate about that particular field you're going to. Look at how relevant that particular role would be, that particular industry would be in the next 5, 10, 15 years, and how you can even adapt to the changes that are coming up, and then look at how you can now start learning the fundamentals of that of the new career field and the terminologies also. Yeah, that would be it on my end.
Hello, sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Okay, so sorry, I was on the call, but I don't know why you couldn't hear me. So thank you. Now, just to add to what Brony said, now, if you're trying to change your career, I think there should be, permit me to use the word, there should be a precedence, okay? There should be an history. Let me give an example. You understand? Let me cite my own example when I changed from pure technical to technical sales. Now, I was in a seminar, sometimes while I was still in school, you understand? Then the dean of the faculty, he was sharing his own experience, and he said, of course, he's still a professor of engineering. So he said the first job that was offered him, you understand, he saw the adverts, they were advertising about selling of tractors, you understand? And in that advert, they listed a lot of things, but he was an engineer then, he's still an engineer now. And he said, and he applied, just for applying sake, and he was called to the interview. And when the person I interviewed him, out of curiosity, asked that you're not a salesperson, you didn't read anything related to sales, but you want to sell a tractor. So how will you be able to do this? You know what he said? He said, I'm an engineer. I know how this tractor works. Okay, I should be able to sell it better than a conventional salesperson. You understand? And that has been on me ever since then. So while in 2014, I saw the opportunity as someone, I was working on signaling within the telco industry. And I saw this opportunity of, okay, someone that can sell these products. You understand? And of course, I jumped at it. Though, I was reached out to by the recruiter, and I was plain to the recruiter that, Madam Recruiter, I don't have experience selling, okay, but I think I can do this because of my background. And of course, I got that. So that is that. So do I still have time? I want to just share a few things briefly. Perhaps it will guide some of the my response to some of the questions and in response to what Efosa said earlier on. Do you still have 1 or 2 minutes?
Yes, please. You do, sir.
Okay, good. So now, a few things I want us to have at the back of our mind, as it's been introduced earlier on that, okay, we are starting our career, is that the first reality is what is known as the gig economy. Okay, I want to believe a good number of us know what this is. But if we don't know, what is this all about? It is like a non-traditional work environment, whereby when there is a deficiency in some skill sets, the HR person or the organization might feel instead of hiring a full-time person or training somebody within the organization, can we just source for this resource anywhere in the world on a short-term basis, temporary basis, project-based, and of course, contracting directly to an individual. So let's have that at the back of our mind. That is prevalent now. And of course, we should be prepared for that. Now, again, what is the implication of this? The implication of this, again, is that there's a kind of global resource pool. So you are in Nigeria, now somebody is in another part of the world that might need that skill set you have. Now, there are two ways you can look at this. You can see it as an opportunity, and some might see it as threats. I give the two examples. There is a company that we are doing something for here in Lagos. Okay, there's a skill gap. You know, they approached me and a few of my friends. We are trying to service them. We are providing that service for them. But the IT guys they have, they already seen us as threats, because to them it is like a threat to their job. But for us, it is an opportunity. So what should you do, or how should you go about it such that, you know, this current trend won't be a threat to you? And I thank God for Pastor Bukola. I think she has shared it all. Now, the first thing is continuous learning. The place of continuous learning cannot be overemphasized. Okay. And of course, while doing that, you might get distracted. You need to be focused, you need to be disciplined, and you need to invest in structured learning. Now, let me talk about the place of structured learning. Of course, if you type a topic now in Google, you will see a lot of materials written by different people. You see a lot of videos, a lot of audio. But I will advise you, okay, to take structured learning. Of course, not necessarily within the four walls of the university, but platforms like Udemy, you know, when they are treating a subject or treating, you know, something, you know, they structure that okay, this is the first thing you need to know, you know, stepwise. Platform like Udacity, you understand, Orally books and the likes. So the place of structured learning is very important. Of course, you get materials in YouTube, but for me, what I use YouTube for, perhaps I'm stuck somewhere, I can go there to check for ideas. But if I want to learn something, a new skill, okay, or something I want to, you know, do long time, I invest in structured learning. That will help you a lot. Okay, and of course, I said the other time the importance of relationship. Referrals matters a lot. You understand? In this world of today, of course, I've changed job severally. Um, I can't remember anyone that I applied for. You understand? Started the process from the onset. A lot that I've tried, you know, I've failed woefully. My ever first job was a result of referral. Okay, the second one was referral. You understand? The third one was referral. You understand? So if time I can share all this. So, which means you must ensure that you manage your relationship well. There are some people that you are working with today. Of course, they might seem not to have the best of characters or the best of attitude, but of course, stay cool. You might need them tomorrow. You understand? So let me stop at that. If there are other questions or other things that come up, I think we can take that up from there. And if there is need for me to share some personal experience, I won't hesitate to do that. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much for that. So, PLN, we're going to be asking you the next set of questions.
I'm here.
All right, Ma. So, Ma, firstly, I'm going to start with the question in the comment section because you're an HR person, so I think that you might be the best person to answer this. Someone asked if, while referring people and relationships and all of that, do you think that it is right to bring in family members to your place of work?
Okay. All right. So, it's organization specific, right? So you as an individual can't decide whether you want to bring someone, a family member or not. It's actually subject to the policy of the organization you're in. If the organization allows it, and usually the policy will spell out what is allowable, what is not allowable, to the extent that whether you can have a spouse come in, whether you can have a family member, extended family member, your cousin or in-law, come in. So the organization's policy will spell out clearly what is allowable or not. And on your own as an individual, you can't do that, really. So basically, that's it. Some organizations will say they allow fertilization. Some will say they don't allow it. So some will allow their employees to date. Some will say they can't date. So really, it's organization specific.
All right. Thank you very much, Ma, for clarifying that. Okay, Ma. So what would like to ask you, what do you think that is it, or we want you to explain to us what is God's plan concerning our career? A lot of times people see, I'm a firm believer that the supernatural oversees the physical, and whatever is going to happen concerning your career, God has ordained it and it's planned by God. And I mean, I also listened to you while you were talking initially about how God has been good to you in your career. So you attributed a lot of your progress to God. So I want you to share with us, how do we know God's plan for our career? When we are faced with troubles that are going on in our career, how do we go back to God? I mean, is God really involved in our career? Does he want to be, or is that a part of our life where we have to figure it out ourselves? Please, Ma, I would like you to just shed more light to that.
Okay. I mean, absolutely, God is interested in everything that concerns any of his children, all of his children, from your career to your marriage, to your health, to your finances, to you're going to bed at night, you're waking up in the morning, you're leaving home, to go out, you're coming back home, every bit. So God is interested in it. So, and career is not an exception. Now, what I will say is this. I mean, there are specific promises in the Word of God that confirms the fact that, or the truth that God is interested. And I'll just cite one or two. It says that he wishes above all things that you prosper and be in health as your soul is prospering. So the point is, God wants you to prosper your career, right? He also mentioned, I think Jeremiah 29 or so, that he knows the thought that he thinks towards you. They are thoughts of good and not of evil, to give you a hope and a future. You see, that scripture in particular is an encouragement for me when I'm faced with challenges in my career. And I'll share something with you. My current job, there were some things my husband told me earlier on when I joined the organization. There were some questions they asked me I couldn't answer, and I told him, you shouldn't ask me that question. I couldn't see how it was going to happen. So I told him, don't ask me. I forgot at that point in time. There was not just speaking to me as my husband, he was speaking as my spiritual head at that time. But I saw it manifest. I couldn't imagine how it was going to happen when he was asking me, but I saw it happen. Now, going back to my younger days, there were things, I believe, tests, experiences that I had that would have, affected my career in life if I'd taken to the alternatives that the devil was pushing at me at that time. And I will share some. See, young ladies, young men, they are very true process to you excelling in your career, true process to you, achieving your dream, achieving your goal, your ultimate destination, your ultimate height in your career without the influence or the support of anybody. You don't even need any man because, there are times man even wants to help, but they're just limited. They're not able to. So if at any point in time you're asking God, you are praying for something, and it's not happening at the time you want it, leave it and let it just be that. Maybe that's how God wanted it for you at that point in time. So there were experiences I had, and I just saw myself, you know what? If God will not do it, then let me leave it, but he will sort me out. And each stage in my career, it has been God all of the way. When it's time for me to change a job, I just feel it. That, okay, it's time for me to start packing up in this place. And most of the jobs that I've had in the past, I've never had to go apply. I've never had to go seeking for them. God has always given me a helper of destiny. I mean, helper. I have one great friend like that. For about 2 careers that I've changed, she was the one that God used for me, and we just met, like that, randomly way back in the past. So there will always be someone that God will use for you. You just allow God. Don't be pushy, don't rush, don't be hasty. Even though it seems as if where you are is not the best that you want it to be, in as much as you know that you have spoken to the hands of God about it, and you are sure that as he has promised that his thought towards you are thought of good and not of evil, to give you a hope and a future, that hope, that future that you desire will surely come. And most times they do not come in the way you have thought them to come or thought it to come. You will come in the way God has proposed it, so that he alone will take all of the glory and no man will partake of it. So that's how it's been. And somebody was asking me, about 3-4 years ago, when I was saying that, he was asking, so why did I stay back in this organization? I said, well, I stayed back because I believe God wanted me to, because knowing myself and how it's been with God, as at the time I felt that maybe it was time for me to leave, if God wanted me to leave, he would have given me something else. But something else, some other opportunity. Organization I go to, when I negotiate pay, is what I ask for that they give me, even though they've said this is what they want to pay. I've had jobs where they are giving me the offer. Something will just keep happening. If I've accepted, I don't feel comfortable after. Something will just keep happening. They'll just keep adding. So it's been beautiful, and it's always a beautiful if you allow God to lead in your career, if you allow Him to direct you. Now, God will always be faithful. Now, you won't say that you want to become, maybe you have a plan, you're an entry level, second level staff, and you want to be a manager in 5 years. That's your career goal. And you are now saying, because I've prayed, I know God will do it. Please don't be deceived though. God is not mocked. If you don't add value to yourself, if you don't upskill, if you don't prepare yourself to take on that level, you don't take leadership courses, you don't take challenges and projects that will project you so people can see what you can deliver, people can see what you're made up of, people can see your abilities, people can see what you have on the inside, the value you're bringing to whatever project, whatever team you have been assigned to work with. That goal will not happen just by saying it or just by praying it. Faith is by works. So put your faith to work and God will make it happen. I hope that has answered the question.
Thank you very much, Ma. It has really answered our question. But I also want to ask, Ma, but does all of this happen without you having a relationship with God first?
Okay, so there are people that don't believe that God has a role to play, a part to play. I was in the US 3 years ago, or 4 years ago, 3 years ago. And I was asked to take a midweek service. And the only thing God wanted me to talk to them about was the fact that, because people are in that environment, they believe that what it takes for them to give their time and make money, right? And they believe that it just ends there. The opportunities are there. And God made me to understand that the fact that you're in this environment, I still dictate, how you move from job to job and how you get satisfied at what you do. The fact that you're in this environment doesn't mean you earn the dollars, so that's the end of it. I still rule. And I just said it to them the way God made me to understand it. And I believe He expanded it in their minds. So yes, there are people that believe that, they can get it done without God. But they also see what happens without God, because the truth is, human abilities alone is not enough. See, is it that you're with God or you're with the devil? You can't be midway. You can't be midpoint. There's no vacuum in nature. So it's either God is the one in charge of your life and leading you, or you have surrendered yourself to the devil. And the devil will lead them to the extent that he will lead them. And they'll get the reward from that. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Ma. They're so insightful. And I can see people in the comment section also saying that they've learned one or two things. Thank you so much, Ma. So, one thing that resonated so much with me is that God is involved in every aspect of our life. And one other thing that she said that also stood out for me, which a lot of us, especially millennials and Gen Zs, say is that, we try to see if we can maneuver God. And then she said something, God cannot be mocked. So if you are standing for Him, you're standing for Him. And then it will always take you through. Thank you so much, Ma. That was so insightful. We'll be back to you, Ma. So, Pini, I hope you're the call. Can you hear me?
Yes, clearly. Can hear you.
All right, sir. Okay, sir. So, how do you think that we can promote God's agenda, or being a Christian? Because with the work ethics now, with a lot of values and everything going on now, at some people's places of work, they feel like there's some steps that you need to take to succeed on this role. And as a Christian, you can see that these are not balancing with my personal goals or my Christian values and all of that. And sometimes you want to be that person that would change the world for God. But you know that is so easy to say, but in practicality, it's not easy. How do we balance, or how do we promote God's agenda in the place of work? Admit a corrupt workplace. All right,
very interesting question. I would start with a general ideology that we have in the Christian circle, which is that we are not of this. We are in this world, but we are not of this world, right? So that implies that anything that the world is doing, you don't engage in it. Just ensure that you are doing very well. You are doing well for your family, and then you're on your way to heaven, right? But we must not forget that what Jesus sent us to do is to go into all the world and preach the gospel and making disciples of nations. And so the first thing I would say is that looking at that ideology that you don't want to engage with people of the world, you don't want to do this, you don't want to do that, you will not be able to influence a community you do not engage. You can't influence a community you do not engage with, right? So the best approach would be to insulate yourself, not to isolate yourself. So rather than saying, okay, so your friends are going to just want to have an hangout, or they're having a discussion at your place of work, and you feel that this is not work related, this is not church related, you should not have your conversations with them on that particular topic. You're not influencing that particular space, right? You're not meant to isolate yourself. You have to insulate yourself, engage with the people, but let the people know your values. Another thing would be, so the gospel of the kingdom speaks to excellence, right? Christians must be, as I shared earlier when talking about the reason why we started General Faith Academy, is not only that Christians are known to be prayer warriors, praying in tongues, healing the sick, which is very important. But when it comes to the workspace, when it comes to our field, excellence is a leveler, right? So you have a medical doctor who knows how to do a particular thing. You don't ask if the person is a Christian or a Muslim or a Buddhist, right? You know that this person can do the job. You go to India, you know that this person can do the job, right? So excellence is a leveler. If you are good at your job, they won't ask you if you are a Christian, if you are a pastor, if you are this or that. So one of the ways we can promote the kingdom agenda in our place of work is by being excellent, be that person of value, right? In such a way that people can even make excuses. I've heard of people who, I've heard of several times where members of a particular, I've heard people say about it, not that I've expressed it. A member of a particular unit had a service to attend, but the unit were still working till about 7 p.m. or 6:30. But she had midweek service to attend, right? But because this person is a person of value, this person has paid her dues in the unit, she was excused, right? So excellence is very important. Don't insulate yourself. Don't isolate yourself, rather, but insulate yourself. Another thing would be that let people know your values. So don't get into the workspace and they don't know where you stand, right? They don't know if you are up for hookup. They don't know if you are not. They don't know if you are the alcoholic kind of person and all that. Let them know where you stand. But that does not necessarily mean that you now isolate yourself from their gatherings. It does not mean you now say, any discussion that has to do with whiskey, any discussion that has to do with the industry and all that. Because if you look at it in the right sense, you go to work from Mondays to Fridays. You don't go to church. You go to a secular space. You go to a place where they are literally doing things that are not in scripture, as it were. You don't read scripture at your place of work. So why can't you have such engagement? So as I said earlier, number one would be insulate yourself, but don't isolate yourself. Be a person of excellence, be a person of value, be a person of character. Character is very, very important. Don't let people say, and you are a Christian. Like that's it really speaks to it does not promote the name of Jesus. It does not promote the kingdom in our workspace. So be excellent, be a person of character, and then let people know your values. Not that you now put your values bare in your face. I'm a child of God. I'm a this. No. Of course, people will know that this person is a Christian. They will revere you. They would refer to you in that light and all that. But still engage with people here outside church topics, outside, just on natural. Go to your workplace as a human being. Don't go to your workplace as a religious kind of person. But more importantly, is be excellent, be good at be the CEO of your space in such a way that they know that this person, irrespective of his religion, irrespective of what he preaches and all that, is a person of value, is a person that adds value to this particular thing. So excellence is a characteristic of God's kingdom. So that's it from my end. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Who else felt all the gems, all the lines? I mean, it was just so hard to just itemize it. Insulate yourself, don't isolate. Excellence is a leveler. I mean, you can't just let go of this. This is tweetable. You can't influence a community you don't associate with. I mean, they were gems. Thank you for those gems. Thank you so much. Spell out your values while embracing good character. Thank you. Those were very practical skills or practical things that I know that will be so useful for us as Christians in the workplace. So when next they're talking about football, or they're talking about is Burna Boy or Davido the best listening, don't just say, I'm more involved though. No, try to at least communicate or be there or ask questions. Just ask questions to arouse their curiosity and also to just engage with them. Next time they are going to the joint to go and drink, you don't have to drink with them. But I mean, you can have conversations with your mouth and just try to involve yourself in them so that when you're going to be preaching, it's going to be easy. Thank you very much for that, Pini. So, Mr. Emmanuel, we're going to be asking you the next question. I'm sorry, my co-anchor had to be away for a very important assignment, so he'll be back soon. So, Mr. Emmanuel, I'm asking you the next question. So, because you're an IT person with sales and all of that, we'd like to ask you, there is a particular fear with the way the future of work is going now, and technologies and all of that. Mr. Emmanuel, you're part of the people that are scaring us. You have built a lot of technologies that is looking like it will take our jobs away. In the next 2 years, it might look like we don't need a salesperson again. Maybe robotics will start going out to speak to people. So a lot of us don't have the understanding of what exactly is going on. As people are building up new tools and new things that are reducing our work. Yes, it's reducing our work, it's making us to work smart. But there are fears in people's hearts that is also going to eradicate human beings in the workplace. So please, do you kindly put some light to it? Do you think that with the technologies and the smart work tools that you are building, do you think that they are going to eradicate the human feeling or the human place at work? Thank you, sir.
Well, like I said the other time, some of these things, some people see it as threats, while others see it as opportunity. Okay, the so-called technology, okay, is it not built by humans? It's built by people that will make, how do I call it, ends meet out of it. So it depends on where you position yourself. So there are things, of course, that machine will do, okay, but who is building the machine? And in building that machine, also, there are a lot of things that are actually required, that requires humans. Let me give a simple example. Today in Lagos, okay, we have street sweepers. You might have 10, 15 of them sweeping the streets. But there are actually machines, there are vehicles that does that today. You understand? Of course, being used in some places, even here in Nigeria, not even only outside the country. I think in Abuja and a few other places, we've seen those machines. Now, those people that are doing the manual labor, of course, they'll be taken off that job, but there are other things. Now, but in building that machine, that has also created some opportunities. Number one, there are people that will design the machine. There are people that will market it. There are people that will sell it. Okay. There are people within the machine manufacturing industry that will be responsible for things around accounting and the likes. So the question should be that where do I want to position myself? Do I just see this as threats or I see it as an opportunity? And of course, like I said the other time, continuous learning is quite key. Now, with that, you'll be able to, shift your goal, shift your attention, you understand, move from a domain to the other. And don't forget, global resource pool. You understand? So if you are not prepared for it, someone else in another part of the world, okay, is ready to take up that opportunity. So I don't know if I've actually answered your question. Don't see it as a threat, okay? See it as an opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I need you to understand that Mr. Emmanuel is a salesman. So he's going to be talking about opportunities. And I mean, I like what he said. Don't see it as a threat. These things are also created by human beings. And so if a human being was one that created it, a human being also know the antidote to it. So don't see it as a threat, see it as an opportunity and see how you can position yourself so much more that no matter what the world is changing, you will always need to be there. Like I always say that the path of my career that I have chosen is such that robotics cannot replace me. You will still need me in your organization. So I think you should always just position yourself to always, I mean, even if you're in a space, you should look out for the technological aspect of that, or the analytical aspect of that career, such that you will always be relevant no matter how the world is changing. Thank you very much, sir, for that. So I'm going to come back to you, Penny. You're a brand person, so I would like to ask you, what exactly does it mean to, what exactly does personal branding mean to me as a career professional? Most of the time, we see personal branding as something for the business people or the creatives, but now, more often time than not, now it is important that even as career professionals, we brand ourselves. So what does personal branding mean to me, and how does it imply to me as a career professional? Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you for that question. Okay, so against general opinion, personal branding is not necessarily, okay, let me not say what it's not, let me speak about what it is actually. A brand is not what it says. A brand is not just what it looks like. A brand is actually what it does, right? So you could have, so I'm going to start from the business perspective now. So you have an organization that puts on its website, our customer service is top notch, we promote excellence and all that, right? So you see that on the website, and then you visit that particular company to get their services. But you see that what they have on their website and what your experience was like, we're actually different, right? So at that point in time, you have a perspective about that brand, that this brand is not a good brand, right? So it's not really about what you say. It's not really about what you look like. Sitting at the core of personal branding is who you are, is what you do, right? Personal branding firstly has to do with your approach to work. I know so many people will say, okay, maybe what I will have said is how to put things on LinkedIn, how to dress well, those things are very important. But at the core of personal branding, right, is who you are. What's the quality of your work? What's your ability to engage your boss, your ability to build interpersonal relationships with your colleagues at your place of work. So that's your personal brand, is who you are. Now, there's an aspect of personal branding that speaks to perception, right? You want people to perceive you in this particular way. So maybe you are at home, you are seen as the very vibing kind of person, the motivated kind of person who is joyful and all that, but at the place of work, you want to be seen as someone committed, someone, yes, there's an ideology around that, but this ideology does not last long, right? You cannot fake it for too long. You cannot be pretentious for a long period of time. So sitting at the core of personal branding is who you are, right? So if you want to ensure that your personal brand is a good one, you first need to work on yourself. You first need to work on the skill set, just as BLL and Bro Emmanuel said, the skill set that are needed to boost your career, give you a career boost in your particular field. So it speaks to your career, it speaks to your approach to work, your ability to build relationship, your empathy with your colleagues, So that sits to the core of personal branding, right? Before we now come to the outer parts, in scripture, scripture says that God sees the inner, God sees the heart, but men looks at the outward appearance. So it starts with your inside. It starts with your person, right? When people, so sitting to the core of personal branding is when people hear your name, what comes to their mind, right? And if you look at it on a general basis, you may just want to do a search. Just ask 1, 2, 3 people around you in different space where you are in, and try to see what people actually perceive about you, right? So that's on talking about your person. That's the core of personal branding. The second would be that your appearance. Your appearance is very important. How you dress, how you walk. You don't walk on the aisle just. You walk confidently with your shoulders high. You greet people on your way. You don't just frown and then you understand. So speaking with your external appearance. And then finally would be your digital appearance, right? We have so many people who do not have, they don't have presence when it comes to the digital world. We are in a very small world now. Digitalization has really brought everyone to a village, right? You must be able to portray who you are. Please note what I'm trying to say, not who you want people to see you to be, because that won't last for too long. Make people see who you truly are. Be human, be realistic when it comes to your communication in digital space. Ensure that you are present. I know you are not a social media person. I know you are not a LinkedIn person, but just letting people know, just putting word out there on a monthly basis goes a long way. It opens you up to opportunities you may not be able to quantify, right? So your personal branding firstly talks about who you are, how you look, and then how you look in the digital space. So that's it for career professionals. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I like the fact that you gave us practical ways to understand who we are. So you might want to just ask your friends. You can even just ask someone that stays at home with you. So when my name comes up, what's the first thing that comes to mind? What's the first thing that, I mean, it could also be people saying, oh, games, anything. If 5 people, out of 5 people, if 3 people are saying the same thing, means that's most likely that's who you are portraying. So thank you very much for the practical tip. Thank you very much for that. I think I'm becoming too serious. So before we go on to the next speaker, let's just quickly play a game to engage. Please kindly engage. As I said, I don't want us to just be talking to laptops and phones. Please, we want to talk to human beings. And so we want you to engage with us. So let's quickly play a game, something to just interact with each other. So I want you to describe yourself. Use an adjective to describe yourself with the first letter of your name. We'll be working with names. So for example, my name is Deborah. I can say delectable Deborah, sweet Shindara. Yeah, so just use the first letter of your name to express yourself, to identify yourself. Please, let's see the responses in the comment section. Oh, thank you, Dami. Dynamic Dami, friendly Faith. Thank you. Please keep it coming. Super Solomon. Keep it coming, keep it coming, keep it coming, keep it coming. Delightful Deborah. Yes. Keep it coming, please. I would love to read it. Privileged Timothy, indispensable Abiola, intelligent Iburonke. Yeah. You're getting it. Keep it coming, keep it coming. Sweet loving rejoice. Wow. So please keep it coming. Magnetic Moses. Yeah. Keep it coming, keep it coming. Please. Would love to read from you. This is a time to blow your own. Call yourself what you want. I mean, Pini just finished telling us that brand is about who you are. Who do you want us to see you as? Let's see it now. Thank you. Keep it coming. Please, next 1 minute. I'll leave us like next moment. All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much for the people that had 1 or 2 responses. Thank you so much for responding. So before we continue, we're going to be ending soon. We're sorry for taking your time, but I'm sure that you're enjoying the session and it's really interesting. I've learned a lot, and I hope you have also learned something. At the end of the session, we're going to be asking you for what you learned, 1 word for how you can see the session. So please keep in mind that we're going to be asking for your feedback. All right, so before we come back to speak, okay, so let's just quickly ask the, so I'm going to call each speakers, and I want to know, I want to ask you for your final words. What would you like to say to our participants? What major thing do you think that they should go on with today? We're coming to the end of the session, like I said. What major lessons or what major final words do you think that you want our participants to have at the back of their mind today? So I'm going to be starting with BLL. Over to you, Ma.
Sarah, please, do you mind taking that again? So sorry.
All right, Ma. So we're coming to the end of the session, and I would just like you to speak up, like just speak about what your final words. What do you think that you would like the panelists today to have at the back of their mind as regards their career, as regards taking up, as regards their job and their career going forward? What major lessons or what major things would you like to say to them?
Thank you very much. Great time with you. Is number 1. There's no limit to how far you can grow in your career. So please don't limit yourself. Don't think small. Don't give in easily to challenges. Challenges are supposed to toughen you up and to prepare you for greater opportunity. Secondly, you can be the best that you want to be or you are cut out to be in your career. So when opportunities come for you, put your ultimate best into it. I mean, if you have to talk at meetings, make sure that you're seeing the point that is being addressed. If you have to go, you have to train, please prepare very well. Pay attention to detail. Commit time to what you're doing. Be your personal critique, the first critique of yourself. Because when you are able to criticize yourself, then improvement will not be too challenging for you. Because before other people are telling you what you need to, areas that you need to improve upon, you have already identified it. And you're already committed. You commit yourself to working in that area against, not seeing that blind spot, not agreeing to that blind spot and thinking that maybe people are just trying to get at you. So, be open to improvement, be open to change. Lastly, I'm talking about no robot is going to change our job and all of that. So yes, you can decide to say that you want to remain relevant, for as long as some of the we've seen now is that the hybrid approach to work, because of the current, of course, the future, it will never be the same anymore. That you have people, organization insisting that people should come and work. You must be physically present to work. So maximize the time that you have. You can work, you can earn, you can upscale. I mean, the opportunities are just there for you. So maximize and take advantage of it. I've seen, Maya tell us now that I want to work 80% and work remotely 80%, physically present 20%, So some of these things are coming up and you must take advantage of this. That we don't know what the next 2 years will be. Maybe things will change again. So maximize what you have now. And then lastly, that I'm going to leave with you is that, you're an employee today. Maybe in the next 3-4 years, some of you will become employers of labor. Take maximum, pay maximum attention to some of the things that are coming your way as you grow your career now. things to do, things not to do, to people as you engage, as you interact. Of course, there's no limit to how far you can go in your chosen career. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ma. Thank you so much, Ma, for your time. All right, Ma. Thank you very much, Ma. We really appreciate you for coming, and thank you for blessing us with your wealth of wisdom. We do not take this for granted. Thank you so much, Ma. Okay, so while BLL was talking, there was a poll that must have popped up on your screen. And if you did not see that, you can look down at the bars and you see a place just beside chats, and in the middle of chats and participants, you see somewhere that has polls. Please click on the polls and take the poll. We want to know when is the best time for tomorrow's session. When do you think that you prefer for tomorrow's session? Feedback is very important for us. So please kindly take up the polls, kindly click, put in your response. Please check and put in your response. Thank you very much. So over to you, Mr. Emmanuel Aderigbe. Please can you share your final words with us?
Okay, thank you for having me. Now, a few things I like to share here. Now, the first is that I think this is the best time for you to have a skill that you can monetize either now or later. Okay, either now or later. Now, let me, at times when people lose their job or when you're out of job, at times it is not the income lost alone, you understand, that puts people in depression, permit me to use that word, but the thought of being idle, that, okay, I'm used to going 8 to 5 every day, tomorrow I'm to stop work. Okay, so what will I be doing now? That alone, you understand, is a deal breaker for a lot. So try as much as possible. Sorry, are you hearing me? I want to be sure I'm still.
Yes, sir, we can hear you, sir.
Okay, thank you. So try as much as possible to have something that you can do outside your workplace. If you're in the tech space, there are a lot you can do that won't conflict with, that won't bring about conflict of interest with your employer. There are a lot. You understand? I give an example. I have a cousin that is still in school. Okay, he's in 400 level currently. He's within the tech space. And this guy is earning $1,000 every month as a student. You understand? And what is it that he's doing? You understand? Involve writing some codes and things like that. There are people that I know in school that are even earning more than that. Even in place of work, while doing what I'm doing currently, there are things I do by the side that at times they even bring in more than I earn. You understand, at the end of the month. So try and identify something that is your passion that you can do. You understand, that of course can sustain you. You understand? So that is what I will give as my parting words. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Like I said earlier, please kindly put in your responses in the poll. We're waiting for your response. Thank you so much, Mr. Emmanuel. Thank you so much for blessing us with your wealth of wisdom. We really appreciate your time. So over to you, Mr. Olani Yukumola.
All right, thank you very much. I must say it has really been an insightful session so far. Not to waste time, I would start by saying that to every of my colleagues, you are not alone, right? Irrespective of the challenges that may be around you at the moment, there are people who have gone ahead and they faced something worse than what the confusion you may have at the moment, the challenges you may be facing at the moment. So you are not alone, and that should lead to you asking questions. Like, be curious, just ask questions. They've gone ahead. You will just want to ask questions to know how to overcome. You may not necessarily follow how they did it or their principles. Principles are things that they work across generations. They work across all fields. So you're not alone. Ask questions. Number two would be to never undermine the place of continuous learning. There's a saying that says that when you stop learning, you start dying, and it affects your career. When you stop learning in the area of your career, you start becoming redundant in your career. So always look forward to the next thing. What is the latest development in your career? And if you're not someone who is really grounded in fundamentals, please go back to the basics and get grounded in it. Another thing would be that for as many of us that are employed, don't undermine the place of your line manager. I mean, irrespective of how much you know, irrespective of how aspirational, how you believe that you are going to be the head of the brand, the head of brands and marketing of the best brand in the world. Never undermine the place of your line manager. Your line manager is the stepping stone, is the ladder to your next big thing, the next big thing that will be coming in your career. And finally would be that put yourself out there. And this is a thought that we really need to challenge when it comes to Christians in the workplace. So we have the ideology that God will single me out. Of course, there's a place of that. God is going to single me out. Let me just keep doing my thing on my desk. At the right time, I would be singled out. I would stand out. Someone would just come and pick me. I know that there's a place of that, but we must not forget that there were times in Scripture, someone like Joseph, he didn't stay with the lion and the bear. He didn't stay with the sheep when it was time to fight Goliath. He went to the palace and told them, "I can do this thing," right? So try your possible best to put yourself out there. There's a task on ground. They're looking for who to get it done. It could even just be a test. Tell them you can do it. As a matter of fact, you may not even be able to do it at that point in time. But tell them you can do it, work overnight and getting it right. Get it right to see that by morning you are able to do it, right? So take up opportunities. Don't just as a believer, just stay in your space. I'll wait for them to call me. Push yourself out there. Ask for jobs. Ask for innovate and tell them, can I champion this course? Can I start up this particular idea? Can I do this idea to the table and all that? So don't just be in your box and then say you'll be singled out by the mercy of God. There's a place of that, but also understand that just as BLS said, there won't be faith. The full substance, the full manifestation of faith has to do with works. It has to do with your physical inputs to you experiencing that promotion that you desire. So that would be it from my end. You're not alone. Ask questions, learn continuously. Your line manager is your next is your ladder to the next big thing, and put yourself out there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you so much. You've been very helpful with giving us a lot of practical steps today and also dropping gems. I must commend you specially for the gems that you dropped today. Thank you very much. They are words on Mabu. Yes, like Birunke said, they are words on Mabu. Thank you very much for your time. We will definitely not make over familiarity to reduce the fact that we see you as a valuable resource to us, and we appreciate your time. Thank you so much, BLL. Thank you so much, time. Thank you so much, Ma, for giving us this time out of your busy schedule. Thank you, Mr. Emmanuel. Thank you, Pini. Thank you so much for your time today. So we are coming to the end of this session for today. Pini is going to be addressing us soon, but then please, we want you to go to the polls and please take the poll so we can know the time you are first. We just have 18 people that have responded. That means we need 10 people more to respond so that we can know what your preference is for tomorrow's session. Also, you can see on the screen day 2. Day 2 is going. If it is today is it? Day 2 is going to be utter. And that's going to be tomorrow. We're going to be having another human resource practitioner and another a CEO talking to us about the power of continuous learning, the power of relationships and work ethics. You can see that, the speakers today also spoke about relationships. I personally admire the fact when BLL and Mr. Emmanuel spoke about how they've not applied for jobs. I'm like, hey, God, this is a real God when time for me. Because, it will be so good that you're not applying for jobs, right? That somebody just calls you and say, please, I think there's an application I saw, there's a vacancy advert I saw, and I'm recommending you. And then, those interviews are very stressless. I can tell you. So this is, we're going to be talking about, we're going to be venturing more into the power of relationships, the power of continuous learning, work ethics, and we're going to be answering your questions. Come prepared to ask us a lot of questions. Over to you, Pini.
All right, I just wanted to chip this in before I finally hand over to just around tomorrow's session. I believe we had a wonderful session today, but I must say that we shouldn't miss tomorrow. The two speakers for tomorrow are people that their story when it comes to their career is very, very relatable. I mean, Dr. Precious Ogunmichael, we graduated from the same university, and the speed she experienced in her career is something to really learn from. I'm particularly going to be in that session. Of course, we know PMJ, the success he has experienced in his career, and the practical and relatable steps would really, really do us good. I wouldn't want anyone to miss tomorrow. It's going to be really, really loaded. So the reason why we asked to get our opinion around why, what particular time we would want tomorrow's session to hold is that I understand that we are a generation of young adults, youths, millennials, Gen Zs, and all that. And sports is very important. So I learned that there's a particular series of matches in football happening tomorrow and starting around 4 p.m. So we just needed to get our thoughts on tomorrow's session. But I think 6 to 8 p.m. is doing very well at the moment. So we are going to be meeting tomorrow, 6 to 8 p.m. But really, I know we had a wonderful session today, but please look out for tomorrow. Tomorrow is really going to be practical, it's really going to be hot. So I look forward to seeing each and every one of us tomorrow. Thank you so much once again, BLL. Thank you so much, Mr. Emmanuel. We do not take your presence for granted. Yes, over to you.
Right. Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. BLL, thank you very much, Mr. Emmanuel. Thank you, Penny. And thank you, the participants, for actively participating in today's session. I really want to appreciate you guys. It's really, really a huge success for us. Okay, so we've come to the end of today's session. And of course, we hope to see you guys tomorrow by 6 p.m. It promises to be engaging and an eye-opener for us all. Okay, so I would like everybody to unmute their mics now and say in one word how today's session means. In one word, how can you qualify today's session? For me, it's mind-blowing.
Interesting.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Okay.
Enlightening.
Enlightening.
This is really
Thank you. Those are positive feedbacks
splendid
from you. And of course, expect much more tomorrow. See you guys tomorrow and enjoy the weekend.
All right, thank you. See you tomorrow.
Pini, do you